The Democratic Alliance retained its position as the official opposition after the May poll. It too used the Nkandla scandal during campaigning.
Upgrading the president's private house.
But the DA had its own internal storms to weather. The partnership with Agang SA's Mampela Rampele seemed like a match made in political heaven. But the fallout was rapid, as just days later the happy union was over. It was an embarrassing bruising for the DA and was ultimately the death knell for Agang SA. But as the DA gained some ground in the general election, it lost one of its young stars, leader of the party in parliament, Lindiwe Mazibuko. The official word was that she was taking time out to study abroad, but there were rumblings that clashes with party leader Helen Zille may have forced her out. Despite efforts by opposition parties, the ANC retained its majority.
When all said and done, because they had nothing to say, they spent more than a year discussing my home state, eNCA. Instead of telling us what is it that they're going to do about this country, they spend the whole of their airtime about eNCA. My babo. The final results of spending time on slogan on corruption and eNCA is what has happened. Many of those who said so are no longer there. There's nothing wrong with eNCA. There's something wrong with them.
Amid the celebrations, the ANC was deeply worried about its performance at the polls, particularly in Gauteng.
This was not an easy election, as enemies of our revolution were determined to crush us, especially here in Gauteng. The DA invested huge resources to win Gauteng, but we defeated them. We also faced an onslaught from the EFF, with most of its members coming from within our ranks. This gave them an added advantage to campaign in our strongholds.
The ruling party also had problems with its alliance partner, COSATU. At a time when the Trade Union Federation was meant to be supporting the ANC election campaign, it was preoccupied with internal squabbles. In April, a High Court ruled that General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi returned to office after an 8-month-long suspension for sexual misconduct, among other issues. This would further polarize the federation. Vavi's #1 defender, Metal Workers Union Numsa, saw this as confirmation of their belief that the COSATU General Secretary was being persecuted for being too critical of the ANC and government. The ANC, as leader of the tripartite alliance, immediately asked to intervene amid skepticism about its real intentions.
This intervention by the ANC is not genuine. It's not genuine. This intervention is about the election.
In October, the ruling party presented COSATU with its intervention report. It stated that the country's biggest trade union federation is split into two factions, one supporting General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi and the other aligned to COSATU President Stu Dlamini. Numsa flatly rejected the ANC's intervention efforts.
We reiterate our very correct political analysis that the ANC task team intervention led by Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa was not only a farce, but an overall flouting of COSATU constitution and founding principle of being a worker-controlled and democratic union federation of workers.
Having taken a resolution to explore the possibility of starting a new Labour Federation at its December 2013 Special Congress, Numsa seemed to have been pushed in this direction after describing the ANC intervention as a failure. But the COSATU leadership had had enough of Numsa's insults and threats of a split. Things came to a head on the 7th of November. Numsa's main crime, according to COSATU, was the violation of the Federation's founding principle of one union, one industry. The metal workers had taken a resolution at their December 2013 Congress to extend the union's scope and recruit workers belonging to fellow COSATU affiliates.
The issue here is, do we have a policy in COSATU against poaching, which is what we do? And do affiliates of COSATU respect that particular policy? If they don't, what then do you do to those that are not respecting that particular policy? I think that's the issue.
The third partner of the ANC-led alliance added its voice.
The unity of workers is extremely important, but at the same time we know that you can't enter into unity with anarchists, so the organization must create a form of discipline that embraces the purpose that it was founded for.
A marathon meeting that went on into the early hours of the next day saw an historic decision to expel Numsa from COSATU.
Just as we have predicted, and we ran to court and the court didn't believe us, we can confirm to yourselves and the rest of the country and to our members that those affiliates of COSATU that were hell-bent in making sure that Numsa is expelled, there was no amount of advancing logic why Numsa could not be expelled.
Numsa is now leading efforts to launch a civil movement called United Front in April 2015. The movement is widely seen as a precursor to the formation of a socialist political party. If eventually formed, the ANC may face another formidable challenger in the 2016 local government elections. 2015 is likely to be a crucial year for all parties ahead of that municipal vote.